Hello, I'm Richard Ridge for BroadwayWorld. Following a critically acclaimed, sold-out run at the Public Theater, Jake Gyllenhaal and Tom Sturridge are returning to Broadway in Seawall a Life, written by Simon Stevens and Nick Payne. I caught up with Jake and Tom and director Carrie Cracknell to talk about their exciting Broadway adventure, which begins on July 26th at the Hudson Theatre. How excited are you two to be doing this?
I'm so excited, and specifically so excited to be doing it at the Hudson Theatre, where we both have experienced. I did 1984, Jake obviously did Sunday in the Park, and it's a really special to be bringing it back to like a home of ours.
Yeah, it's a space that I have felt a lot of magic in, and I feel like I both of these pieces make me feel magic nightly, and so it's nice to bring magic to magic. I mean, you know, I think the pieces themselves are really, you know, they take you on a roller coaster of, you know, joy and grief and the mess of life. And it was really lovely to see you there after the show, because I feel like we know each other in a way and we interact and we never know what's going on in each other's lives. And it's a show always, unless we talk about it, but it's a show about the people we pass in the street and we don't even know what's happening, that we are all going through so much separately. And to acknowledge that there is a connection, a connective tissue between all of us, and that is love. And no matter what we're suffering from or whatever joy we're in the middle of, it's that feeling, and that's why we are so excited to bring it to Broadway. Yeah.
Tom, what's made this so special for you?
I mean, firstly and foremost, I think they're exquisite pieces of writing, and you can't. A piece of theatre lives and dies by the writing, and Seawall is one of the most beautiful things that I've ever read in a life, equally. And then it happens to be written by two people who we care very much about. Simon is someone who gave me my first ever job in theatre, is one of my closest friends, and and mentors, and
I feel the same about
and
Nick
so
Payne.
obviously having that kind of that basis, and then working with Carrie, who's it's like a dream team.
They're all friends. Simon and Nick and Carrie are all friends, and the works that they've produced separately and together are extraordinary. And so for all of us to come together as friends who love and respect each other's work, but also have known each other for a long, long time. I mean, I have wanted to work with Carrie for years now, and have tried in many different ways, and failed. And then she agreed to come on this because of her relationships and because of the intimacy of the material, I think, really, and how much these writers bare their hearts and souls. And then she said, okay, now it's time for you guys to do it. And then that's what we ask from the audience too every night, in a lot of ways.
Because you two were in the room together watching each other. They're one-handers, but you were there together watching each other work in the rehearsal room, right?
We still do. Every night we watch each other, yes. Every night. Every night we are a part of each other's piece, because we may not be on stage. We are on stage together at a certain point, but we're not on stage together through a majority of each other's pieces. But I am on stage with him, watching him, and vice versa. I mean, we note each other, and I love his notes, because he's the one who takes the journey with me every night.
It's been an extraordinarily collaborative process for something in which two people don't share the stage that often. But I think that the energy that each piece puts upon the audience really kind of transfers throughout both pieces, and that's the connective tissue, is the audience's responses.
I mean, there are these moments in the piece where you're like, when a whole audience laughs in the way that they do, with this like great relief, and then we're back into a roller coaster of the story, and then we're back laughing, and then we're back, and then we're crying together. I mean, it's such an incredible exchange. And because it's so quiet, because in Sunday in the Park with George, for instance, with the music as moving as it is, you never get to feel that. You can feel it as a collective energy, but never in the same way. And it's really coming to see and be with us, with me and Tom, like to come to the show to be with Jake and Tom. That's basically what we're asking.
Finally, because of your celebrity, many people will be coming to the theater for the very first time because they know you from film. And it's going to change their lives forever. We all remember when we went for the first time, seeing maybe a TV name or a movie star in a show, and we were like, my gosh, this is live. It's a whole other animal. Yeah. What that means to you two.
I think that's the most exciting thing about bringing it to Broadway.
Yeah,
I mean, because Broadway audiences are people who come for the first time. They do come for different reasons, which aren't always kind of theatrically motivated. And these plays, to be seen not knowing what you're coming into, are an extraordinarily different experience.
Yes.
And what we are so desperate to sort of seek out anyone. If you haven't been to the theatre, this is the play to come to, because we will surprise you, and it isn't going to be like what you expect these experiences to be.
Yeah, I mean, look, I as I've been honored to be on stage, and a lot of that, if I'm honest, has to do with the fact that I was in film before I was on stage, and people come and go in that space, you know. I hold the stage in the highest regard. It is my greatest and deepest honor to be on the stage, and I hope I can be able to do it for the rest of my life if I'm so lucky. And to think that there would be a generation of people who have never been to the theater who would make their way as a result of, you know, maybe kind of knowing my name or Tom's name is the biggest blessing any performer or artist can get. It would be, even if there were like 10 of them, it'd be pretty great.
Yeah.
It's always just such a joy to start on a project that you love, and this is a piece that I feel really passionate about because it's so many of my favourite collaborators. So it feels like a good moment.
How did this all come about for you to work on?
I've had a really long-standing relationship with Simon Stevens and with Nick Payne, who are the two writers of the pieces. And Jake had seen a show that I directed in London, and we'd been talking about trying to find something to work together on. And so it was one of those amazing moments where all these kind of good energies and stars aligned, and the whole project came into being. So,
what attracted you when you read the two pieces together?
they're both really raw and incredibly truthful pieces about, I think what's lovely is that the writers have kind of really dug deep into their own experiences, and that really shows. So it feels very alive and unique and unexpected, and I love this sort of sense actually of men talking really openly about their feelings and about fragility, about fatherhood, about their experiences of being sons, and I think we don't talk very openly about those things in male experiences, so that felt really unusual as well.
Talk about working with Jake and Tom.
It was amazing working with Jake and Tom. They're very different actors. They come from very different backgrounds, but they found a kind of amazing affinity. And what I loved is that they watched each other rehearse a lot and gave each other a lot of feedback, which became a really unexpected and kind of beautiful thing, actually. And they're really unusually able to hold the room, which is the thing that's amazing. They come out each night, they're very alive to the audience. They really listen to what they're being given, which is an act of great sensitivity, and is quite an unusual thing to be able to do, I think. So it's a real honour to work with them both.
What's it been like for you as a director to, like, when it was the public theatre, the audiences and other member of the show, just to watch the way they react?
It's been wonderful sort of seeing that dialogue, and of course it's not an audience that I know. Like in the theatres I work in London all the time, the audiences are kind of part of the evolution of the work, and so that was really lovely, and the public audience is amazing. It's like a super kind of alive group of people, so it feels really exciting to kind of make something in a conversation in that way.
How thrilling it is to have this piece on Broadway now with Jake and Tom.
It feels so, and it feels kind of unexpected because there's something that's very open and direct about it as a piece, and it kind of doesn't hide behind anything, and I think that, you know, that's a really lovely experience. So.